We've got a David Grusch update and more. It's time for another UFO news roundup, so get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like and subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments below. Yeah, ever since we got the IG quote that there was a credible and urgent threat associated with David Grusch and his narrative, there have been, debates about what exactly did that mean. Was that simply in relation to the reprisals against David Grusch that composed a clear and urgent and credible danger? Or was that actually about UFOs? Well, in the Joe Rogan podcast recently, David Grusch clarified that. My complaint, yes, was about reprisal too. I filed that separately, eventually to the Department of Defense Inspector General. That's an ongoing investigation. But it was my congressional oversight U.A.P. crash retrieval allegations that was deemed credible and urgent. It was sent to the Director of National Intelligence, and then it was sent to the Congressional Intelligence Committees around that time, July of 2022. And from Post-Disclosure World, according to Grusch, the credible and urgent demarcation made by the intelligence community inspector general did in fact encompass the claims that there is a UAP crash retrieval program not being reported to congressional oversight. So boom, there you go. We have our answer straight from David Grusch that the credible and urgent quote from the IG is actually pertaining to the UFO crash retrieval and reverse engineering operations. In other words, the control group. So that's huge. That's huge. And, Ross Coulthart has commented on this. This is exactly right. A point many ill-informed commentators fail to understand. The ICIG has validated Dave Grusch's allegations of a retrieval and reverse engineering program as credible. People should consider the implications of that fact. Of course, this has sparked a new debate. Joe Murgia, for example, says, my point stands. I don't think it was specifically about a UAP crash retrieval program, just that some programs have not been reported to Congress. Nick Madrid says he disagrees. He says the Rubio said they were investigating with similar whistleblower allegations 3 years ago, likely meshing with Grusch's classified testimony on crash retrievals that reverse engineering. They know, they just don't know what to do. It's going to be an S-storm. And Joe Murgia, he's not satisfied by that. He says, so you think the IG and Gang of Eight, which includes Rubio, have been given access to the crash retrieval program and related programs, because that's the only way to know for sure what those programs consist of. Nick Madrid says, no question they are aware and have verified Grusch's allegations. What do you think is going to happen with 300 million Americans find out that our government is a piece of S? And it goes on back and forth and others chime in. But a really interesting situation where, according to David Grusch, and of course I know it's all about, trust me, bro, but I do trust David Grusch. And he is saying that the credible and urgent portion actually does pertain to UFO crash retrievals. Meanwhile, in response to a question from John Suwadik, Brandon Fugel, owner of Skinwalker Ranch, says, absolutely, I have offered to help establish a Galileo installation at Skinwalker Ranch. I have great respect for Dr. Loeb and his effort. Wouldn't that be amazing to get mainstream science involved in Skinwalker Ranch? I love Skinwalker Ranch. I mean, it is the real-life Twilight Zone. It's incredible. You got portals, you got cryptids, you got UFOs, you got everything. I mean, it's kind of a spooky, scary place, and some scary stuff goes on there. Cattle mutilations, some poltergeist activity, some scary stuff has happened there, but it is an incredible place. Of course, it's not alone. There's multiple places around the world that have a lot of activity, Sedona and various other places. But can you imagine mainstream science, like the Galileo Project, getting involved at Skinwalker Ranch? That would be amazing. I love it. Yeah, okay, so you may have noticed that Kurt Jamongle from Theories of Everything has been a little silent on UFOs lately. Well, recently, opening up to Richard Dillon, podcaster Kurt Jamongle, I'm probably butchering that name. Apologize, Kurt. Love your show. Kurt confessed the reasons why he's backed away from the acrimonious and bitter UFO scene. He said, "My last interview with a UFO bigwig was 8 months ago, and in part the reason for the lack of frequency with this topic is because I've backed away. I backed away. Why? Because I'm disappointed and I'm dismayed. So the reason is there's always the promise of some tangible government or scientific data that's just around the corner." Yeah, I hear you, Kurt. I hear you. There was a rumor of 40 new whistleblowers coming forward. It never panned out. But even if it was 140, then the next question is, so what? Because there's only so much that talking can do, and I see acrimony developing in the people who are involved in the scene. So I went to the Soul Foundation conference, and the most euphoric people there were the attendees. And the rest of the people who are actually involved, they're calloused, they're embattled. And I see this dyspeptic attitude also growing on the part of the UFO community for people who have been in it. You can actually tell how long you have been in it by how bitter you are. So I see this jadedness developing in myself as well. And luckily I can identify it before it becomes something significant. So I've just backed away. Well, that's too bad. That is too bad that Kurt feels that way, but I can totally understand. It is very frustrating. UFO disclosure is always just right around the corner, and it's been that way for decades. I did an episode a couple months ago where I showed how even back in the 50s and 60s, there were reports that UFO disclosure was just about to happen. That's the way it has always been. However, we are closer than we've ever been. We actually have laws being passed now based on UFO disclosure. We have the U.A.P. Disclosure Amendment. Maybe a little bit defanged, but it's still the U.A.P. Disclosure Amendment that was passed by Congress and signed by the president. That's huge, and we will hopefully get some of those 40-plus whistleblowers coming out this year, either in field hearings or in Congress itself. So don't lose heart, Kurt, or anybody else, giving up on this. Things are happening quicker now than they've ever happened. So, we want the answers now. We want disclosure now, and I totally get it, but that's just not the way it works, unfortunately. Okay, now a lot of people are talking about what's going on at CERN. Joe Rogan has been talking about this. Others are talking about what the hell is going on at CERN. Well, this lady, Dr. Astrid Stuckelberger, says she was actually working with she actually basically overheard it at a dinner conversation. Some CERN scientists talking about portals and beings coming out of those portals. One of them left a scarf. So these are scarf-wearing beings of some sort that came out of a portal, according to this story. Then there are various other stories as well. Are any of them credible? Well, I haven't seen any confirmation of this. With David Grusch, there's various points of corroboration. With this story, I really haven't seen a lot of that. So, I don't know what to make about the events at CERN. Are they really opening portals? Is this just, a BS rumor? Is this active disinformation? I don't know. I mean, they could be opening up portals at CERN. I can't talk, but they could be doing it. But I haven't seen any definitive proof that they're actually opening portals and beings are coming through at CERN. So I would love to see some corroboration on that. It's certainly a juicy story, but it's also very alarming because if they're actually opening portals with that technology at CERN, that means they've got technology that can open portals. And do we really want these guys opening portals and summoning forth beings? I don't know. Well, let me know what you think. Let's see. We got more Nasca mummy news because tomorrow we are getting the big press event. I'm very excited about that, even though that one specimen may have been absconded with. I'm still hoping that we'll get information on it, but there is going to be at least one new specimen revealed. Incredible History says, I just received the following from Jose. I think somebody told me it sounded like Joyce Mantilla, about the press conference on April 4th. I will be there, says Incredible History. Press conference, Tridactyl Beings of Nasca, the definitive proof. The analyses will be presented to new non-human bodies, which will also be investigated by the University of Ica. Details of the $1 million lawsuit filed against the Peruvian State Ministry of Culture for lying and falsifying the truth will be announced. This Thursday, April 4th, 2024, the city of Lima will be the epicenter of this revelation, unparalleled in the history of the world. A new adult body will be presented, which has an elongated head, only 3 fingers on hands and feet, many metal implants on the skin, and in addition, a forceful and unquestionable biological characteristic. A forceful biological characteristic. I don't know. Could be getting raunchy. I don't know. Just like the dozen other bodies that we have presented since 2017, this specimen was found near the enigmatic Nasca lines. This event will present the diagnosis of 3 prominent and award-winning North American scientists who have arrived in Peru in previous days to carry out their own analyses independently and to make their results public. They will be joined by prominent Peruvian and Mexican forensic experts and engineers. So yeah, really cool stuff. Looking forward to it. Bring it on. And let's see, I'm looking to see if there is anything about that specimen, because I think we know what that specimen is going to look like. But yeah, very, very interesting. Can't wait. Bring it on. Yeah, and people are talking about the new Randall Carlson information. And he's been talking about that on Sean Ryan. An impossible plasma technology. Yeah, and thank you, David Hayes, for providing these breakdowns. I really appreciate it. An impossible plasma technology system based on sacred geometry that appears to be the transmutation of elements on the atomic level is all set to change the world, according to Randall Carlson. I've got a dozen scientists, engineers, industry professionals that say, yeah, it's impossible, but goddamn it, we saw it. And they're still trying to figure out exactly what they saw. He's talking about the thunderstorm generator invented by Australian Malcolm Bindle and the subject of a Joe Rogan podcast that was never broadcast. When hooked up to internal combustion engines, the generator tech turns harmful carbon emissions to oxygen and also radically reduces fuel consumption, promising resolution of the climate crisis. The generator consists of pipe spheres, infrared light, whirling vortexes, and microscopic bubbles, combined with sacred geometry, including a pipe angle of 51.84 degrees, the same as the slope of the Great Pyramid. Yeah, that's really cool. So I can't wait for this technology to be unleashed upon the world. I hope it does solve the climate crisis, and we can treat the earth better and all that kind of stuff, and all the other various applications of this technology is very exciting, using sacred geometry. That's really interesting, because that does come up in the UFO research more than you might think it would. So I think there's something there, some there, and I can't wait to see what results of it. Also, I just love the name Thunderstorm Generator. If I ever become a genius inventor, well, he's already stolen my name. I was going to use Thunderstorm Generator. Now it's taken. I guess I don't have to become a genius inventor now. Okay, moving on. Meanwhile, lemurs getting high off of millipedes in the jungle. At a certain point, I'm going to have to cut this off because there is music, but check this out.
The millipedes use dangerous secretions, including cyanide, as a defense. But the lemurs still chew on them, albeit extremely cautiously. The toxins cause the lemurs to salivate. They then rub both the saliva and the millipede into their fur. They use it as an insecticide to ward off insects such as mosquitoes that carry malaria. But they are suspiciously enthusiastic about the whole process.
Okay, then it starts talking about how they get high off these millipedes. It's hilarious. And then it shows a bunch of stone lemurs. They're shaking their heads and being all dazed and everything. And drooling because it makes them drool. But the stone lemurs, guys, don't eat these millipedes. Do not do what the lemurs do. This stuff is poisonous. But apparently the lemurs are not balked by the poison of the millipedes. They're just sitting there getting stoned from the millipedes. He's got the munchies. Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. All right, yeah, James Fox the other day on April Fool's had an amusing, although annoying, tweet about there being a UFO on the White House lawn. You know, obviously an April Fool's, but some people actually believed it. And I get it because it's coming from James Fox, right? And that's the annoying thing about people doing April Fool's on Twitter. I manfully resisted. But you know, and also then it goes after April Fools, right? After April 1st, those tweets, in many occasions are still there. They're not taken down. And so people come across those tweets a year or two later and they don't realize it's an April Fool's. It muddies the water. I don't really like it. I don't participate in it. But James Fox says, unlike April Fools, this individual is real and will be featured in the program for the first time regarding certain legacy programs. That guy right there, I guess. Provided he's given amnesty, Military X is willing to testify under oath in open congressional hearings. So he needs amnesty. Does he need amnesty just for being a whistleblower or because he's done some skullduggery on behalf of the control group? You know, who knows? But at least he's willing to come forward, provided he gets this amnesty. Sounds like a great person to have on the program, James Fox's new documentary. I can't wait to see what his information is. I wonder if he's one of David Grush's 40 whistleblowers, but I guess we'll find out. And where exactly was he involved in the program? Was he involved in crash retrievals, reverse engineering? Was he a man in black? What was he doing? Let the speculation commence. Meanwhile, Chris Mellon promised to blast AARO some more, and he does. He's following up on the promise. The recently released AARO historical report suggests secret government programs and stealthy aircraft account for a high percentage of civilian U.A.P. sightings, yet they seem unable to provide a single example. More to the point, what about the military's own sightings of U.A.P. that they know full well are not attributable to secret government programs? Why is that not fully examined and discussed? Here's a recent case which only became public because of an unusual protected disclosure by a citizen to Congress. Even then, the Air Force officers refused to let some members of Congress visiting the base see the imagery of the object taken by the pilot. Why do these Air Force officers think they have a better right to see that information than those we elect to Congress? Good question, Chris. Meanwhile, in just the last few years, the military has logged over 1,000 new U.A.P. reports. Yet nobody in Congress, not even the chairman of the House and Senate Armed Services and Intelligence Committees, seems to know the details. How many other cases are like this? And then he links to this article from the War Zone talking about Eglin Air Force Base. Air Force pilots' bizarre encounter with capsule-like craft off Florida declassified. From Joseph Trevthick. U.S. Air Force pilot says they saw something they couldn't readily identify that was the size and shape of an Apollo spacecraft during a sortie from Eglin Air Force Base in Florida last year, according to recently declassified documents. 3 other unidentified objects were also tracked on radar during the incident, which Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz first publicly disclosed last summer. And we've heard a lot about what happened at Eglin. I don't feel the need to recount that at the moment. But there you go. Chris Mellon had promised to blast AARO some more, and there he does. And it is very interesting why these military guys and government guys think they have a right to this information, but we don't. I mean, that's just, makes me so frustrated. Makes me so frustrated, guys. But we got whistleblowers coming forward. We've got James Fox's new whistleblower coming forward in his documentary. Might even testify if they give him amnesty. And we've got a whole bunch going on, guys. We got Lou Elizondo's book. We got a new movie. We got a lot shaking. So don't lose heart. Don't be discouraged. This is hopefully the year when we can begin getting some disclosure and wrecking some furniture. That's what Lou Elizondo promised. He said if they couldn't do it through the conventional means, they were going to start wrecking some furniture. Well, I'm hoping that will start soon, because 2024 is getting off to a little bit of a slow start. But hopefully they're just setting the stage for some furniture wrecking to come. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up. I sure appreciate it. Smash the like button, the subscribe button, and of course the bell so you get notified of future videos. If you want to support Cosmic Road in a bigger way, consider grabbing a coffee mug or a t-shirt in the merch store below, or by becoming a channel member. Channel members are rock stars, and I really appreciate you guys' support. Thank you so much. Also, Cosmic Road channel members get to see videos frequently hours ahead of everybody else. Meanwhile, there are plenty of other videos on the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.